Berry.
All right, folks, and as you may have heard on the recording there, me as a professional podcast host was clicking the live button while also confirming how to pronounce my guest's last name, because it's what professionals do. Actual professionals would have checked on that 10 minutes ago when we were talking, but better late than never. I do have a guest today, Eric Fortenberry. It's very easy when you just break it up like that, Fortenberry. He's the founder and CEO of JobTread. Welcome, Eric.
Hey, appreciate it, Kyle.
And this is the Remodelers on the Rise show. And I titled it, Have You Heard About JobTread? Have you heard about JobTread? And if you are in my Facebook group, it's called Remodelers Community. If you go to remodelerscommunity.com, you can request to join that. And then I'm constantly talking to remodelers that I'm working with one-on-one that are in my VIP club groups, et cetera, et cetera. And I have noticed, Eric, to probably your delight, that over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 months, a lot of my clients have been moving over to you guys, investing time and energy and money in moving forward with your software. And as a business coach and somebody that pays attention to the industry, it's been very quick and very noticeable. And you and I talked a month or two back just for me to understand kind of who you are and what you guys are all about. And I thought it would be great to bring you on the show today. We want to do 3 things. Number one, I want to have you give kind of your JobTread origin story and tell a little bit of the people about you. Number 2, I want to go through some best practices, just general best practices. If I'm a remodeler and I'm looking to implement software into my business, what do I need to be thinking about? And then I just flat out want you to kind of share, why am I seeing so many remodelers move to you guys and get started with you guys? What are you hearing from clients, and give you an opportunity just to share about your software. So number 1 was your origin story. And if you look on the screen, I like to give you an option. You can either give us the 2-minute JobTread origin story or the 3-minute. Your call.
All right. Well, I better talk fast.
Do you want the 3 or the 2?
We'll go with the 3.
We'll go with the 3.
Take the extra minute if that's what I got. But
fair.
Yeah, no, Kyle, I really appreciate you having me on here. We've really enjoyed the opportunity to work with you and and all the members in your group that have been joining us at JobTread. A little background. So, this is my second software company. I built a software company, started in 2007, ended up getting acquired in 2015. We sold software to higher education. Long story short there, we essentially sold it to about 650 universities in 13 countries, had over 20 million users on our site when we got acquired by a private equity firm. I learned the hard way what happens when you sell your company to a private equity firm, and so hopefully that won't happen again. But at the end of the day, it was a great opportunity for me and my team. We did really well. But it was after that, a buddy of mine was running a GC here in my hometown, Dallas, and he was struggling to scale the business and asked if I come over and help. And when I walked in, I immediately realized that they needed software to help them scale the business. Like I saw paper walking in the door, going into folders, then transferred to binders, and having just a bunch of manual processes, a bunch of data entry into one spreadsheet, and then copied over to another. Like I think at one place I found like quadruple data entry. My mind almost exploded. Like this is the most inefficient process ever.
And a process guy like you. Yeah. That probably drove you absolutely bonkers.
Oh, it was crazy. And, I immediately knew that they needed something. And so that's when I just set out and I went and I looked at everything out there from, Buildertrend, CoConstruct, to the Procores. Like I looked at all the software out there, and my takeaway was that, man, like this is really antiquated software. And I was like struggling to make a recommendation on which one they should implement because it was super expensive or it was going to take a lot of time to customize it and set up. And, the guys are like, well, you're a software guy. Can't you just build us something? Like, well, I don't want to create another one off. They kept pushing me,
There's a lot of software that starts with a line like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know how to code. Can't you just do this?
Yeah. As if it's that easy. But, I did agree. Basically I said, look, my conditions are I take over as CEO. I give you 1 year and everything I build is my intellectual property. So, if this does have the potential to be my next company, then, I gave myself that opportunity. And so, again, long story short, like we started at the very beginning of, budgeting and estimating your jobs, then started focusing on the job operations, the project management, scheduling, and then kind of at the end there, the accounting, the and invoicing, managing the vendor billing, integrating with QuickBooks. And so we ended up growing them from 5 to 8 million in sales that year. And we increased our gross profit by 43%. Like when I walked in, my advice is you guys might as well go to Vegas and roll the dice. This is a total crapshoot on how you're going to perform on any given project. And, they weren't doing that job costing. They didn't know their numbers. It was really.
Whoa. Doing job costing and knowing your numbers is important.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the number one thing that we did to consistently hit our profit margins.
Whoa. If I've increased sales from 2 million to 3 million, you think that's not enough and I should pay attention to my job costing and if my actual gross profit and if I'm actually having slippage or grippage, you're telling me that stuff's important?
Absolutely. I mean, what's the point in selling a job if you're not going to make any more money on it? Yeah. So, again, kind of, I gave them that year. We built out the system, the first version of it, and then and that was in 2018. So 2019, at the end of that year, I recruited some of my developers from my last company. They came on, they rebuilt everything, did a much better job, set it up to be, multi-tenanted so we could, provide it to other construction companies instead of it just being for that one company. And in 2021, we started selling it. We definitely underestimated how hard it was going to be to start up a business in the middle of the pandemic. But as soon as we could get back out there to the trade shows, the events, it really started to take off on us. We ended the year about 200 active customers last year. This year we're on our way to 1,000, almost there. And so it's, it really has been exponential growth. And, at the end of the day, we're all just passionate about, software and construction, and probably half my team at this point, we all worked together before. So we're pretty well-oiled machine.
You got the band back together.
That's exactly right. So I got a very proven team, and it was interesting because after the first company, we all just randomly went off into various construction jobs. I mean, Travis, many people know, he went and he did, home remodeling. Alex was doing home flipping, renovations. My dad, who is my CFO again, he was my CFO of my first company, is here again. He was a home builder. And then really all the people that we're hiring, in our sales and customer success roles, we want to make sure that they also have construction experience so that they can, really kind of give the best possible coaching and advice to all of our customers to help them understand the software and get up to speed. And, when you can kind of put yourself in a position where, you understand what a business owner is going through, I think it makes it, that much more impactful to help them implement something new in their company.
Excellent. So I remember when you and I talked, I kind of went away from that conversation going, this dude's driven. He's kind of been there, done that. The growth and the kind of the setup and the growth of this business, and just the passion is impressive. And you did a fantastic job of giving us kind of the brief JobTread origin story, but you really covered all the bases, and it gives people a little bit of a feel for kind of where you're coming from. If you're watching this live, looks like we got double digits watching it live. Feel free to comment if you have a question, or if you've been thinking about moving to JobTread, or if you are, just share a comment on kind of what it's been like for you, or what you're thinking about, or a question you have. That'd be wonderful. But there's kind of our background. Let's kind of move into the second of the three things we wanted to get into of, this pretty broad question I'm asking, and I'll have you start giving some answers, and maybe we'll go back and forth on it a little bit. But if I'm a remodeling business and I am starting to work with software, or I've been working with some software, what are some best practices that come to your mind, that you're thinking about, that you'd advise them on, that you'd be drawing their attention to when it comes to using software to help run their remodeling business?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, even before, kind of you decide which software, I mean, it's really important that you understand and identify, like, what are all the processes that need improvement? Like, where are your bottlenecks in running your business? Like, what challenges are you having, or what challenges are your employees, your team members having, that are causing frustrations? They're causing you, to be more inefficient. So I think it's important going into it that exactly what problem are you trying to solve, and then dedicate time to researching all the possible, solutions. I mean, there's tons of different solutions to any given problem. And if you know what you're looking for, and you know what you're trying to solve, when you go out there and you start looking and start, doing demos and trying out different things, it's going to help you ultimately make sure that you make the decision that's going to solve your pain that you're having. I think one of the other important things is like, during this process, make sure that you're involving all of like the key constituents, the key decision makers, like the key stakeholders that, are going to be using this, and that this is going to be affecting their lives. The earlier on that you can involve them, the better, because now you're going to get, this collaborative, joint decision, instead of it feeling like you decided something, you signed up for something, and now you're requiring people to use it. The more buy-in you get going into it, the more likely your adoption is just going to be, much smoother. You're going to get a lot more support from that. And so, I highly recommend that, especially people that you think may be resistant to change, or are resistant and don't like technology for whatever reason. Like, again, having those people involved will drastically improve the onboarding and implementation and adoption.
Love it.
Yeah.
Hang on. I know you got more. Hold fire for a second. One, we've got a live comment. That's always fun. There's old Jake. We signed up last week. We're excited to see what JobTread has to offer. Wonderful. Jake's a client of mine, and his office manager is going to be having a baby here soon. So we were just debating of like, all right, if she's going to be out for that, should we sign on and this and that? And they did a demo with you guys, and we're going to be dabbling with it. So, I mean, you mentioned two things there, and the first one being kind of like, well, that's not as exciting. I just want to do the demo. I want to download this thing. I want to start fiddling with it. I want to start working with it. And you're talking about, whoa, strategy before the tactics, strategy before the tactics. Why do you want to integrate more software into your business? What processes need improvement? What is causing frustration? What problems are you trying to solve? If you slow down and just think about that, those things will come pretty quickly. And then to your second point, if you get people involved, it is critically important and very, very helpful that if you get the team to buy into this, the ability for you to actually implement it and truly see efficiencies and productivity and increases in profitability is going to be much greater. So if you're listening to this, take those two things to heart big time. And one other thing I'll add, and then I want to hear more of your answers to best practices. People, it's 2022. If you would have asked me in 2018 and 19, hey, what are you seeing, Kyle? You're talking to hundreds of remodelers throughout the year. What are you seeing with software? I'd say, I feel like our industry is a little behind the times. I have some clients that have really embraced technology and software, and it is making them more efficient and productive. It's streamlining things. Their clients appreciate it. It makes it easier to do change orders. Their team is tracking their time so much easier. But I would have said, man, we're behind the times. Whether it be the pandemic, whether it just be a few more years, we are catching up in our industry quite a bit. Whether it's using Canvas to do scans, whether it's using software like yours, I'm seeing much greater desire to implement it, and people are seeing the fruit of it. People are realizing I can do more with less resources and less people better than I ever did before. I'm more organized. I have less chaos. So think about that, remodeler, as you're hearing about this. What is your plan to integrate software more and more into your remodeling business? Because it's only going to become more important in the years ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. So like just this morning, I had a customer who reached out and basically said, he was just said, you and your organization are absolutely amazing. I'm a huge supporter of everything you all are doing and creating. JobTread is an integral part of my operations and has been one of the best business decisions I've ever made. So it's something that, again, I hear this time and time again, and it's really important, though, again, going in, that you understand what you're looking for, get the right solution. But, once you do make, your choice and you move forward with something, like, it's super important that you dedicate the time to learning and setting up the software. If you buy something and then you don't do anything with it, then what was the point in the first place? Like, you're wasting your own time.
It was a tax deduction, Eric. I saved $242 on my taxes. That would be a benefit.
That's that's a small little rounding error there. But I think at the end of the day, like, you got to make sure that you're dedicating, and you're committing to doing the work that it takes to get it set up. A little bit of time up front is going to save you a whole lot of time in the out months. And so, make sure that you're dedicated to it.
So talk a little more about that. Like, what should I expect? Let's say I'm doing a couple $1 million. I've got an office manager. I might have kind of a estimator or project manager. I've got 4 or 5 team members in the field. if I am working on setting this up and I don't have it right now, like, what do you mean by dedicating the time? How much time should I anticipate?
Sure. I mean, it really depends on, kind of your organization and how much, you want to do and kind of what you're implementing. But,
Yeah.
again, I would definitely, say that, the first couple of weeks are going to be the most important weeks. And, you need to, if you don't want to dedicate kind of, full days, I mean, at least block out, mornings or afternoons, throughout the week to make sure. And like, hopefully the whatever you're implementing, I mean, with JobTread, like we have, kind of this 5-step program that walks you through all the different steps to get it set up and implemented. And so, just going through that, making sure too that, again, you're getting all of the staff on your team involved and trained, is super important. And then, so many times, a lot of times there's always like support resources and help desk and, ways that, videos and training programs and guides and things that, like, you want to make sure that you drill into those and you spend the time to kind of, leverage all of that that's available to you, as well as the community. I mean, a lot of solutions have some sort of a community surrounding them. I mean, we have what we call JobTread Pros. It's our, Facebook group, super active, several, 100 people in there. And it's a great place to, again, if you got questions, you want to just throw something out to the community where, again, other people who have been through the process, can help you answer your questions, or they're, it might have already been answered. And so, again, that's a way that, it's really helped us, scale as we, take on, our long march to several thousand. It's something that, leveraging those resources, you don't have to figure things out on your own, but like you should, put in the time to try to learn and study everything that's been published and is available to you.
Yeah, and before you move on to maybe another next best practice you want to share, talk about just, is it wise to kind of just start with one area of the software, kind of look at this in a little bit of phases where, all right, let's get our time tracking with our team going. Let's get a schedule built out. How do you typically advise on that?
Sure. And the way my brain works, like I love to make a list, and so again, this is why we, when you first log into JobTread, you got a whole getting started, kind of checklist, and it's sort of broken up into the different phases. But, at the end of the day, like I'm big on make sure that you get all the basics and everything set up. What data do you want to collect? Make sure that you've created those custom fields, make sure that, you've identified what your processes are going to be set up, kind of your custom views and your Kanbans, make sure that, probably one of the biggest things that people could do is focus on their catalog and building out their templates. Like however you're doing it today. And our team is, we always help people with this, but like if you've got a spreadsheet or, if you're using something else or whatever it is, whatever you're doing today, take this time to gather it all together. Again, if you want to build out a spreadsheet, know your costs, know your numbers, understand what you're currently doing, and start getting that, and take the time to make sure that it's up to date, that your costs are accurate. It's what you're currently paying. And then we can help you get that imported into your JobTread. Set up the most common budget templates. If you're doing remodeling, if you've got the standard kind of your kitchen package or your bath package or, a home edition, a deck, whatever it may be, setting up those templates and make sure that every possible item is included, so that when you go and you're ready to create that next job, you want to quickly build out that budget and send off an estimate, you're going through and you're removing the things that you don't need. You don't necessarily need to go add the things that you may be missing. It's better to have to remove something than to potentially not have it there and forget it and then end up having to pay for it out of your pocket.
So a couple of best practices I'm hearing there. One is the, dedicating the proper time to it. And then what you were getting at the tail end there is templates are your friend. It can be such a tool to save time, same hassle, make sure you're not forgetting things, become a better estimator as a result of that. Jim McKenna, he had a comment. So what would you say the full investment would be in the learning curve? 5 times the cost of the software, to calculate ROI. What would you say the upfront cost is? Kind of interesting way of thinking about it.
Yeah, that is a great way to think about it. I mean, I would say, luckily with JobTread, your cost is it's fairly inexpensive. I mean, it's $149 a month, and plus $20 per user per month. So depending on how you value your time, it should be fairly inexpensive for you. The thing is though, like, it's all about how familiar are you with leveraging software technology. I mean, so many people are switching over from, BuilderTrend or CoConstruct, where they already understand how, the software works, how job costing works. And so for those people, it's really a fairly seamless transition, and they're just learning some more of the advanced intricacies of, one program versus another. But if you're switching from, pen and paper or just Excel, or, your team's not used to using software, then, it does take more time to get familiar with the software. And so that's where, I think it's really important that you do dedicate more time, to making sure that everyone on the team is comfortable. Create a test job, create a test customer, like, let people go in and practice building out a budget, or, practice creating the scheduling, like, that you don't have to do it live on that first job that you get in after you've signed up. You can, and a lot of people do, build it out as they go. But, at the end of the day, like, what a great opportunity, just kind of, hey, let's, to take an existing job that you're currently running and go rebuild that.
It's a great way to start.
Yeah,
it's a great way to start. And I think to Jim's question of, how long is that learning curve, or how much hours are you going to invest in the setup? It's similar to, like, well, how much am I investing in training that carpenter to become a lead carpenter?
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors involved there, right? Depending on their background and their skill level. You get somebody that's really solid with software, that has some previous experience. You have a company that already has a lot of their processes and estimating and everything kind of sorted out. That's going to be a quicker implementation. But it's kind of an interesting way to think about it. Eric, I feel like you have one or two more best practices about using software. The ones you shared so far have been excellent. I bet you have one or two more before we move on to the third part of our show today.
I absolutely do. And kind of one other thing, though, that I just to Jim's point, I mean, I have seen people implement this in a day and send out that first estimate, collect that signature, and invoice them to, kind of we have kind of sort of a three different, approaches here. If you want to walk through the implementation setup, we say that, you could do it over the course of 2 weeks. Now, if you want to sprint through it, we'll show you how to jam it into 1 week, or if you want to crawl through it, you could do it over the course of a month. It really does depend on how much time can you dedicate, to getting it set up and getting comfortable with the system. And then also, if you already have, your catalog, your price sheet, if you already have all that data gathered together, that's going to just drastically speed up the implementation, because we can just take that, we can import it. That's kind of going to be the biggest, bottleneck is, really, do you have a good handle on how you're currently budgeting your jobs and those kind of those key cost drivers. So having that all together will be kind of a big impact on how fast you can get it going.
Like that. Give me one more best practice. What's one of your other favorite ones?
I would say that next one is, again, it's setting up the integrations and, planning kind of any of the data migrations. If you're using QuickBooks, whether it's QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, getting that set up, and getting kind of all your, the JobTread cost codes mapped to your products and services, getting, all your employees mapped, like, set those up from the beginning and make sure that you've got a good handle on that. Because the integrations are really where you can cut down on so much duplicate data entry, and you can streamline, the processes here. I mean, get your payment processing set up, get your, if you guys are using Slack for your internal, team communications, thing like that, set up those integrations and those notifications so that, like, again, at the end of the day, like, you don't want to have a bunch of point solutions all over the place. The goal is to, have one connected ecosystem of, the solutions, and hopefully as few solutions as you need, so that it's just easier and more streamlined process from start to finish.
Yeah, I like that. Tell me a little more about the QuickBooks side. So you're telling me that I don't have a lot of hair, but if I had a beautiful head of hair, that the integration between JobTread and QuickBooks is not going to drive me absolutely bonkers, and that we can be successful with it. We can integrate it back and forth without a lot of craziness going on.
Yeah. So, when you're using JobTread, the thing about JobTread is you're going to, it's going to be a lot easier for your team to use. You can have, your salespeople, your project managers, like, you can have a lot of people in JobTread versus in QuickBooks. You typically don't want a bunch of cooks in that kitchen. You want it very kind of, nailed down to, just your bookkeeper, your accountant, obviously business owners in there. But, at the end of the day, like, whenever let's say when you create invoices in JobTread, those are going to be automatically created in your QuickBooks. When you approve bills and you enter those into JobTread, those are automatically pushed into your QuickBooks. whenever your guys clock in and clock out, they're, when you approve their time entries, that's pushed into QuickBooks. Every new, job that gets created, whenever there's, some sort of an approved document, that'll create that in your QuickBooks. And so the goal is to streamline and eliminate as much of that, duplicate entry. And then whenever you're, if you collect checks, or if you, pay your bills, out of QuickBooks, that automatically comes back and it updates in JobTread. So
you're telling me that a lot of your clients have got that set up and they still have a head of hair.
Oh yeah, hundreds of our customers have got the QuickBooks. Now, I will say
definitely been an Achilles heel for a lot of folks on other systems.
Yeah, QuickBooks Online is definitely the integration, kind of all the new features, and it's farther along than the QuickBooks Desktop. Integrating with QuickBooks Desktop is a nightmare. It is the hardest integration by far. It's so much more of a challenge, but we do have it there. It's just something that, regardless if you're using online or desktop, like setting up those processes and setting up those integrations early on will help kind of with the implementation, onboarding, and make sure that, you've got as seamless of a process as possible.
Excellent. Cool. We covered a lot of good best practices, a lot of things that people need to be thinking about. We do have another comment here. Jim said Sean Van Dyke has gray hair. That's true, Jim. If you're going to hire a remodeling business coach based on the head of hair, it's Sean Van Dyke, obviously, and then I'm way down there. Yeah, you speak the truth, sir. All right, so to kind of wrap up our deal here, Eric, why am I seeing a lot of my clients moving over to you guys? What are they saying they like and appreciate? What are some of the things that you guys are kind of doing that's really allowing you guys to grow? So I'm kind of teeing that up for you a little bit. I will share, maybe before you share, I'll share a few things. One, sure. I hear consistently from my clients who are getting set up with you guys, it's much, much easier and logical to set things up. The different facets of the software play together and makes a lot more sense. Creating the schedule is much quicker. Just the system and the software overall is just faster. So those things, are not simple things. When you're using software and it is clunky, or it feels like you've got to really hunt in order to find something, or things just don't click and go as quickly as you want, that can add to frustration. So I'm definitely hearing a lot of that. I'm hearing the estimating system, the job costing system, they just work quickly and well. So those are some of the things that I'm hearing. What else are you hearing from your clients?
Yeah, no, those, definitely, it's exactly the same thing we're hearing. At the end of the day, I tell people, look, we're not reinventing the wheel here. The fundamentals of managing a construction business haven't changed in decades. It's the thing that we're doing is we're leveraging modern technology. We have kind of the advantage of being able to learn from everything out there and taking away the things that worked well and then improving upon the things that didn't work. And so, just again, given our experience with, creating, very large enterprise, software, we've got that experience that's necessary to make sure, that we can kind of come in and make it as easy to use, make it as seamless and integrated of a solution. A lot of times, some of the other solutions out there, not to name names, but a lot of times they didn't actually have that software background early on. And so they might not have had the strongest foundation built, and so now they're just kind of continuing to add on to, something that is just a little bit more clunky. Obviously, having our modern UI, making it where, you can do every single thing you can do on the desktop, you can on your mobile, or on your tablet. So it's extremely fast. There's nothing that drives me, nuts more than software that you're sitting there having to wait, for it to do something. And it's just, slow loading, or buggy, things like that. So, I'd say kind of first and foremost, our development team is phenomenal. So we're definitely, spend a lot of time and focus on making sure, that we've got great software that we're putting out. And I think a thing that other people have noticed is we literally track every single feature request that we receive from our customers. And that's how we prioritize our development. we do the things that are going to make the biggest impact to the customers, to the most number of customers. And like, I say that, look, I built the first version, I got us here, but at the end of the day, like, it's all of our partners at this point. It's the community, it's the industry. Like, we want to build this together. We view everyone as a partner, not just a customer or client. Like, you're our partner. We want your feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly. And that's how we're going to continue to grow and improve together. And we're building this out of a needs basis. We're building this together, and again, we have that advantage of having a great foundation that allows us to continually improve and make changes a lot quicker than a company that's already got tens of thousands of customers on there. They can't adapt and they can't change, and they're a lot more kind of set in their ways. For us, it's we're still early on, and so it's an opportunity to partner with the company who's helping to build out the system that will run your entire business. Like, you can directly have an influence and an impact on what gets built and how things work. And we're all about it. Like, if you go ask any of our customers, they'll tell you that our customer service is top notch. Like, I'm dedicated to continually listen. I mean, I probably did like 25 shows this year. I'm out there.
I know. I was telling last time we talked, I'm like, hey, dude, you can't be traveling so much. You got that wife and kids at home. You got it, and you're like, yes, I know, we're balancing it, but you're hustling.
We're trying, but yeah, we're hustling, but we care. We're passionate. Like, we want to build a relationship. We're doing our inaugural user conference here in January. Like, we're inviting our customers to come in. Come spend 3 days with us. Like, go through education sessions, do the networking. Like, learn from others who are doing awesome. Like, but give us your feedback, because that's how we can continue to grow and improve together. And but whenever you need help, like, you're literally, you can call us, text us, email us. You can find me on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We want to connect with you. And I think at the end of the day, that's sometimes the thing that these guys who have been around for a long time, that they just get comfortable, or maybe they've already sold the company and the leadership's no longer involved or there. And it's more just a business. Like, to us, this is a journey that we're on. That this is, we want to provide the best experience for you. And we genuinely, like, we're not entirely in this just to build and, create this wildly successful company. Like, we genuinely want to give back. Like, I want to help as many contractors to be successful and to grow their business. And that's just what I enjoy doing. It's helping others. I was super fortunate, to have great people around me, to have awesome coaches and mentors. And, I was successful in my first company. I'm very fortunate for what has been given to me. And I want to turn around and give that to others and help other people, learn from that and grow and build the best business that you can. I mean, life's too short to think that you're working at a job. No, like, this is your life. This is your career. Let's make the most of it. And, again, it's all about surrounding yourself with the best people. And so, we want to be a great resource, to all of our customers and to the people that,
Eric, I'm ready to run through. I'm ready to run through a wall over here, man. No, that's good. And everything I'm hearing there is, I like to think that I can get a read on people over the years. I've talked to a lot of people. Everything I'm hearing there is very authentic, and just I believe everything you're saying, because you guys are following that up, and that's just the way that you guys are rolling. I'm just hearing about that and seeing that. So appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Jim said, can we get a quick flow of the software, quick overview? The answer to that, Jim, is no. This is a 30-minute show. I am hungry and I'm ready for lunch, and we're already 3 minutes over, Jim, so we can't do that. But you can certainly set up a live demo with JobTread. I bet you Bailey will probably put in the recording of this, and maybe also in the comments, there is an affiliate link that I have for JobTread. If you want to click it, I bet you it would buy me some lunches if you sign up through that. She'll put that in there. Or just go to jobtread.com, click on set up a live demo, and do that. One thought that I'm going to share to close, and then I'd like kind of your final thought to share. When you just mentioned technology, and something I talk to my clients about often when we talk about the topic of marketing is, hey, I know you're a remodeler. I know you're wearing a lot of hats. You are a content creator. You need to be about creating content for your business, and you need to make sure team members are doing that as well. It is going to continue to be important for you to differentiate yourself, build know, like, and trust through content. There's interesting stuff going on in your business every day. So sometimes I make them think like that, and it helps them. They need to think as a content creator. The other thing they need to think about, and it's to your kind of more your point, is Hey, you need to understand technology. I'm not saying you've got to be the one going in and setting it up. I'm not saying you have to be the one integrating the technology, but you sure as heck better have your butt in that demo. You need to be asking questions. Why is QuickBooks and this not communicating? Hey, how is our team doing with clocking in and clocking out? Hey, show me the job cost report. You need to be about technology and embrace that challenge. If that doesn't come natural to you, embrace that challenge. You are going to be such a stronger and more successful remodeler if you embrace this technology and lean into it. Can't argue with his enthusiasm, says Jim. That's true. And then Bailey tossed in the old referral code in there. Cool. So that's my kind of final thought. Eric, if you were to kind of just leave the people with one more thought that comes to your mind, or emphasizing something you've shared, what would it be?
I'll just say, I'd encourage everyone again, reach out to us. It's real easy to get connected with us. JobTread.com. There's a ton of, resources, videos, content. You can schedule a live demo at any point, or, if you just want to dive in, sign up, again, just whatever it is, make sure that you take the time, go through all the help videos, get connected with your customer success manager. Really there's no better time than now. It's so important these days that you do keep up with, technology, and make sure that you're, positioning your business as the most professional, innovative, make sure that your customers and your prospects know, that you're going to provide them a great experience from start to finish. I think those are some of the things that we hear all the time, that, JobTread just can really help you get organized. It can help you complete your jobs on time and on budget. It can help you grow the business, increase your profits. So, to the extent that there are people out there, I would love, to work with you, to help you guys out.
Love it.
Definitely, get if you are interested, go check it out now. We will be increasing the price for new customers here at the beginning of the year. So, you can lock in that rate, right now, if you get going by the end of the year. But
has anybody ever accused you of having good enthusiasm?
Yeah, no, I've heard it all the time. Look, I'm a passionate guy, man.
I like it. I love it.
Even what we're doing, and at the end of the day, I think that is, probably one of the things that, kind of keeps our team going. Keeps our customers engaged and motivated.
That's right.
Sometimes we get told, hey, you guys are doing too much. You're putting out, too many updates, and it can be.
That's a good problem to have.
But yeah, I'd rather have that problem than the other problem of, hey, you guys hadn't made any updates in forever. So
yeah, what I say is keep it up, Eric. Keep it up.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you sharing the knowledge, the information, the ideas. And yeah, please go check out JobTread, JobTread.com. See if it might be a good fit for you. And all the best, Eric. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it, Kyle.